Welcome back, DigiDestin. It's your boy TPG Digimon here today. Today I want to talk about the year 2024 with both Digimon TCG as well as a couple things on this channel in the year 2024. I have my phone with me today. I have a couple things written on here that I'm going to be talking about throughout the video. So you might see me looking at my phone, just some notes of what I'm going to be covering today. So the first thing I want to talk about is Nats 2024. This is the Nats that just passed that a lot of people went to Bandai Card Game Fest. It had Digimon, Battle Spirit Saga, One Piece, as well as a bunch of different Dragon Ball events, okay? As well as the demos for Union Arena, which is also very, very cool. But I want to talk about the Digimon side, okay? I did not go to Nats 2024. I started a new job in my personal life, as well as I was taking a little bit of a break from the Digimon TCG, sort of trying to do a couple things with myself before I got back into the game, and I'm very happy to say that I am back. It was a nice little break, but I'm very excited to be back. I did not go to Nats. There was a couple things I wanted to talk about from an outsider's perspective that I don't think there's many people who can give an opinion on like I can. A lot of people did go, right? So I think there's only a handful of content creators that didn't go, and I think a lot of them would agree with a lot of what I'm going to say. The biggest blunder, I think, with the 2024 Nationals was making it a completely free event. A completely free event sort of takes away the prestige, not the prestige, that's sort of gatekeepy. I think for competitors that is fine. However, I think having an open event with no invites, because for those of you who don't know, only 400 invites or so were given out this year, with a little less than that actually showing up to Nats. I want to say the actual invitee percentage was about number of people was about 200 to 300 people from what I've heard out of the 400 or so who got invites. So not all of them showed up. And of course, a 300 person Nats isn't that awesome. I think store championships was definitely the way to go. Or if they wanted to make invites prestigious, they needed to have a reason to get them outside of priority registration and a 2-round buy. I do like the priority registration, and I think that needs to stay in the future if they do leave it open invite, because part of the reason I didn't go is because I couldn't get in. I did it as soon as the events opened, tried to get in for both One Piece and Digimon, and the app kept crashing. I didn't have my invite for either, so it was a little unfortunate on my end. I was on the waiting list for One Piece, and then when I wanted to switch over to Digimon, I was no longer able to switch, so I ended up staying on the One Piece waiting list and did not get in. So that was one reason I did not go. But I think if they want to keep it that way, they need to fix their app, really. Invitees getting the priority was nice, as well as having their own separate thing. However, I heard, again, I wasn't there, so I don't want to talk too much about this, but what I heard is that there was a big issue during after round 2 when they're adding those invitees to the rounds, which is a bit of a bummer, but is what it is. I think the biggest thing is not charging for side events, okay? So when I heard this, I was like, no way they're not going to charge for side events this year. That has to just be like a miscommunication, mistranslation, something like that, right? There has to just be false information going on. Sure enough, I hear from a lot of my friends who are there sending, sign up links in Discords or whatnot. They're completely free. You can sign up for as many as you want. So a lot of these events sold out while people were still waiting outside of the venue, okay? I don't want to talk about the lines because I wasn't there. From what I heard, the lines were terrible, very mismanaged and very poorly organized. But again, that is not something that I had experienced. But the side events is a big deal breaker for a lot of people, right? If you go to a big event and the side events are completely sold out by people not playing the game, as well as people who are, how do I say it? People who are sort of just sending the invites around, and people who aren't in the venue are getting in, that's a little discouraging and quite unfortunate, because to be honest, a lot of the prizing for the side events this year were really, really cool. Outside of side events being free, I think those do need to be paid for moving forward. I also think, this is just my opinion, but I think that we need to have a separate venue for spectators as well as players, right? A lot of people who went to Bandai Card Game Fest were just there to enjoy the atmosphere, be around all of the card games and stuff like that. However, the way it was set up was sort of like competitors were not as important as the general public, which I get from a marketing standpoint. I get that, right? You want the general public to come in, see Union Arena demos, see the Digimon trading card game, see the One Piece trading card game, all this stuff. However, I think having side events open to the general public is a cool idea, but they need to have different side events, right? I think if you're a competitive badge would solve all this, right? If there was a in-person sign up, you're like, hey, I'm a competitor, here's my competitor badge, which we had. I don't know if there was competitor badges this year. I have to imagine there was, but there was the year prior. Say like, hey, look, I'm a competitor, I'm gonna go to the competitor side event area and I'm gonna play side events over there, right? And have someone at that door, right? Like a separate exhibition hall inside of the venue, which I know they have because the Nationals of 2023 was in like an exhibition hall, and half of the wall was like taken down so that we could have side events on one side and competitors on the other side in the tournament. Awesome setup. Thought that was great. So I don't think having them all in one massive venue like that is really going to help. So I'm hoping, now I want to talk about my Nats 2025 hopes. These are my hopes, right? Number one hope, okay? I hope there is a better system for signups on the Bandai TCG Plus app if you don't have an invite, if they keep that. I think invites this year, part of the problem last year's invites weren't as prestigious, right? Because everybody got to go. All you got was a 2-round bye, and regionals notoriously don't have as good of prizing as Ultimate Cups. So that problem's already been solved. We're going to talk about that later, but there's some amazing prizes for playing in regionals this year. They definitely took a playbook out of the One Piece handbook, and I'm all here for it. So thank you for that, Bandai. We'll talk about that later. But maybe bring back store championships, okay? I know you don't really love to do a Bandai, but it got more invites out there so that more people would be able to sign up for that priority registration, which I think is what we want. We want people playing Digimon throughout the year, right? We don't want them playing Digimon at the one Nationals per year, right? Like that one event, like, hey, I can go to Nationals, I'm going to go. Cool, if you want to go to Nationals and it's this big Bandai card game fest, let's make it a fest, right? Let's make it this big extravagant event to enjoy Bandai card games for not only competitors, but players as well, by having side events dedicated to people who are not playing in the main event. And then also having side events dedicated to those people in the main event. That way, when I scrub out X3 and drop out of the main event, I can walk over to the competitor side event venue and play over there, right? Pay my you know what? Boom. There's your Nationals incentive pricing. Off the dome, off the rip. Make it paid for people who are just spectators, right? If I'm just here to enjoy the festivities of Bandai Card Fest, and I do not have a competitor badge, don't let me in the competitor venue. Keep me wherever the majority audience is, the passerbys, the regular people who are just there to enjoy, and have a paid side event area for them. If you really want to do free side events, do them for the competitors, right? If I'm X3 drop, I'm like, dang, that sucks. And now you're like, pay $30 for this bet 3-on-3, that's going to be a little lame to me, right? So if you want to keep it free for the competitors. Say, hey, look, you got your invite, or hey, look, you made it through the app and you played in the event. Cool. If you stay in this venue hall and you show your competitor badge, these side events in these venue hall, these competitor hall, are free for competitors. That's a really cool incentive for just playing in the main event. I think that would be a really cool idea. Another Nats 2025 hope is, of course, I hope to go. I do want to actually go this year more than I've ever wanted to go before, I think. So that is a big goal for me. Moving on from the Nats 2025 hopes, I want to talk about pricing. I want to talk about the Ultimate Cup pricing and the regional pricing. So I'm going to talk about Ultimate Cups first because the first wave is coming sooner. At the time of recording this, it's February 2nd. So I think the first Ultimate Cup is in 10 or 11 days or so. I think it's like the 13th or something. Awesome pricing. Ultimate Cups never had a problem with the pricing. I wasn't a fan of the formats of Ultimate Cups. I don't like the twisted format. In my eyes, Ultimate Cups have always been the treasure cup of One Piece, right? With the amazing pricing, but I should be able to use that event to practice for a regional season, right? If I'm doing very, very well and I win a Susanoo-mon, which, by the way, is the first place prizing for the Ultimate Cups this season, amazing, amazing artwork. Love the hybrid stuff. But if I want to win that Susanoo-mon, I want to be able to use a deck that I can then transition and take to a regional season, right? A regional cup. I don't want to be taking, a jank deck that I just made for this Ultimate Cup to practice for other Ultimate Cups. Like, Locals doesn't practice for Ultimate Cups. I don't really think that we should be doing those. I think they're fun, especially towards the end of the year. There's always this sort of weird 2-month gap in between sets in the summertime, and hopefully that'll probably go away this year with something we're going to talk about later. But there's always that sort of weird 2-month gap in the summer. I remember it's always during very mid formats too. Year 1 it was Lord Nightmon format, which was excruciating, and then it was, I believe, BT9 format might have been the summer format, or maybe it was BT8. But they're always really long and just sort of boring. And if you want to do those different Ultimate Cups, do it then when we don't really have regionals to play and we've been playing the same set for 2 months. Do it then. I'm cool with that. But the prizing for Ultimate Cups is awesome. I like that we, obviously, because because hybrids don't have Digitamas, we are getting the rookie for the entry prizing, which is great. I love the Flamemon artwork, and it's the Flamemon line, right? So we have Flamemon, Agunimon, Aldemon, Emperor Greymon, and then, of course, the top prizing is Susanoo-mon, as well as second place is also getting, maybe it's top 8. I can't remember right now. It'll be on the screen, the prizing. But the top prizing will get the Gallantmon Crimson mode from last Ultimate Cup, which is very cool if you missed out on that. Next, I want to talk about regional prizing, and oh boy, did they do themselves a good one. They took what playbook out of One Piece's playbook, and I am not mad at all. This is awesome. Okay, so we have a couple cool things, right? So we have our new Digitama sleeves, which are the Royal Knights, and I think they look very, very good. We also have the new event pack, which is okay. There's better than previous event packs, that's for sure. It's also tournament packs. It's also smaller. I think the only thing in there that's not awesome is Togemon, but I do know Togemon's pretty good in the current green stuff. I just am not too familiar with the current green stuff. But the event pack overall looks really good. Not as good as the previous tournament, regionals pack, the one that came with the protagonist level 6s. That was insane, and I genuinely don't know if they will ever beat that. For participation, that was actually nuts. I don't think you guys realize how insane that was, okay? The big one is top 8. There is now a reason to go beyond top 16 in a regional. Before going to top 16 in a regional, often if I was X1 at the end of the day or something, if I knew I was going to get my invite from a regional, there's no real reason to try and win past top 16. Because first place got a booster box, and that was pretty much it. Top 8, you get a numbered card. Okay, so this is where they took a play out of the One Piece page book. They have this first year of regionals, we have a serialized Omnimon card. They recently put the pictures out for it. I'm not a huge fan of the artwork, but just because it's serialized, I think I need it, okay? And I think regionals are genuinely worth playing this upcoming year, just for that Omnimon, right? Just having that card is good. It's not Monkey D. Luffy, right? It is not as famous as Luffy, but that is pretty much our Luffy. Outside of Agumon, I wouldn't be as excited for a serialized Agumon as I am an Omnimon. A good Omnimon at that. The crazy people out there are going to go win 4 of them, and they're going to play, a couple of them in their deck because it's the Blitz Omnimon from BT5, which is actually a good card. Now I want to talk about a couple of my goals for this year. A lot of you are going to click away from the video now. But my goals for this year are to top 8 5 regionals, okay? I want to top 8 5 of them because I want 4 of the Omnimons in my binder, and then I want 1 graded, okay? Maybe I'll grade all 5, I don't know, but I want 4 in my binder. Maybe I can play 1 as a flex spot, something. But I want to top 8 5 regionals. This is a big jump for me personally. I have never actually top 16 a regional. I've gotten 17th or 18th a couple times before the invites passed down. I've bubbled a lot, but I have never actually gotten my invite. The previous year's nationals... The previous year's nationals... I only got to play in because I won an LCQ at the event. And between college, I haven't been able to sign up for as many regionals. This year, I plan on signing up for every online regional and every in-person regional that I can physically attend. That's within reason, right? And I want to win 5 Omnimons. Okay, that's my goal. Another goal of mine is to win either one regional or one Ultimate Cup. Again, I've never won an event like that, and I would like to win a regional, preferably an Ultimate Cup, because the pricing is a little better for getting first place. But of course, I would like to win one regional or Ultimate Cup. I don't care which premier event it is, but I want to win it, and I want to say I have won it, and I did that. Another goal I have is to expand my channel this year. I want to grow to 10,000 subs by this time next year. Right now we're at like 2.28 or something. I haven't grown much in the last year because I've been doing a lot of sponsored deals, as well as not really focused on Digimon as much because my joy was sort of fading with the game. So I took a prolonged break, did a bunch of other stuff. Pokemon was doing very well, and I still enjoy playing Pokemon at locals and stuff, but I don't see myself really taking Pokemon to that next level like I want to with Digimon. So my goal is to get this channel up to 10,000 subs by this time next year, hopefully before Nationals. Along with that is I want to increase my standing with the community. I hope to not only commentate local level events, online local level events, as well as some in-person local level events. I want to start commentating larger events, right? If I get asked to commentate a regional or a Ultimate Cup, I would like to be able to do that, right? I'd like to be able to be asked to do that, stuff like that. And I want to sort of find a niche in the community where I haven't before. I feel like I've gotten to this point, this 2.28, which is pretty good. Makes me feel pretty good about myself seeing that number go up. I won't lie. But I want to be someone in the community who can be trusted, looked up to, stuff like that. And I think getting to that level and then having that mutual respect with some other content creators and then being able to commentate with them, I think would be something that I would love to do. So that is sort of my personal goals for 2025, as well as being, 2024, as well as just being an overall better person this year. The last thing I want to talk about is I didn't make a separate video on it because I was following all the Nationals news and stuff, and I really didn't even realize it happened, was global releases. Okay, I saved this for the end of the video because this is an insane topic. So global releases is something that I don't think any card game has ever achieved. Pokemon's the closest. I think pre-release for a Pokemon set comes out 2 or 3 weeks after Japan, but we also have a 2-week gap in between pre-releases for Pokemon. So it'd be like pre-release, a week, and then release. Whereas most games are like pre-release, release, you know? And Pokemon has this weird like gap thing. So it's actually like a little over a month until we get a full release of a set after Japan, and sometimes it's even longer, right? Because we get 2 Japan sets in one usually, so sometimes it's even longer after they have their full sets. But Digimon's doing it. I think it's going global before Nationals of next year. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's going global by this time next year. It'll probably be right around this time. I think it's going to be BT 20, which if we are going into BT 15 in the next couple of weeks, that's only 5 core sets away, which is definitely doable. It might be, honestly, if I'm being completely honest with you guys, Nationals being in January this year was a little strange to me. I love it being in LA. And I think January is a better time in LA than February when it starts to become springtime and rainy, because it was very rainy last year. I would not be surprised if we go back to a February Nationals and at Bandai Card Fest is actually the release of BT20. I don't think it would be legal for the main event. However, I think it would be a very, very promotional thing for Bandai to do. Like, hey, One Piece is really big. Battle Spirits is still cooking. Union Arena is just coming out. Dragon Ball Fusion World's doing good. This is our first Nationals. And then we have Digimon, the game that really put us back on the map, having a global release this weekend. Right? I think that would be insane. However, my fear with that is not being able to get any. I heard at Nationals this year, there was like a Bandai booth where they sold figures and stuff, and nobody was really there for the figures, but you could actually buy retail price One Piece cards, which is pretty insane in the current atmosphere of One Piece. And they were just, that is what everybody was in that line for, was the retail price One Piece, right? And I worry, like, if they're like, hey, you know, Bandai card game enjoyers, we have a global release of a game coming out today, go buy it. I think it's going to be very, very hard to get that product at the event. I think a couple weeks later, you know, at locals and stuff, it should be pretty plentiful and pretty easy to get. But I worry about that. I also think that BT20 is going to be a sort of meshed set, right? I think Japan will get their BT20 and our BT20 at the same time. However, I would not be surprised if our BT20 is actually like BT 17, 18, and 19. Or, Japan will get BT20 and we'll get like BT 18, 19, and 20 in one set, sort of like set 1.0 and 1.5 were, right? Or set 1. Was it called 1.5? I think it was 1.0 and 1.5, yeah. Where it was sort of 3 sets in 2. And maybe we'll get the start of BT20. Like, let's say we get all of BT18 and most of BT19 in our BT19. And then we get BT20, which is the rest of BT19 and all of BT20. Which would be okay, because then we would be on the same page moving forward. But our ratios would be a lot worse, and cards would be either a lot more expensive or a lot cheaper, right? And I think that could be an issue with the global release. However, I'm very excited for it, and I think it's going to be an awesome, awesome thing for the game overall, because there's a reason to not only look at overseas results, but also look at our results, right? Oftentimes we look at overseas results and we sort of just net deck them because they've had the set for 2 or 3 months already. Even though it's best of 1, we'll make some changes to make it fit better in our format. But with a global release, right, our format, because of being best of 3, could be completely different from Japan's format, right? And that is something I'm very, very excited to look for and see that how the 2 separate metas either evolve into this one meta and there's a consensus of like, yes, this is the best deck between both sides of the game. Or if, you know, one side evolves differently and the other side evolves differently. I think that would be very cool as well. So that being said, this has been sort of a long video, unscripted. I did get through all of my notes, which I was really excited to do. If you guys like these videos where I'm sort of just talking with a little bit of editing, let me know by leaving a like, comment, subscribing. If you like this video, do all that stuff. Also, we have a Twitch where we stream a lot of Digimon stuff as well as other stuff. Link for that's in the description down below. It's twitch.tv/tpgtcg, and I'll see y'all next time. Peace.